Standards identified in these activities have been adopted from the content standards of the national organization for each discipline. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model. The students in this vocational agriculture class are studying aquaculture by raising fish and plants. The students work in the lab where water testing kits and equipment are available. They clean the tanks and start testing the water. This activity integrates occupational skills for animal care and Field Trials Standard 6, which requires that students clean the containers that house their animals.
You can start hosing that out now while he's doing that.
One student adjusts the chlorine level in the water by adding a chlorine neutralizer. This will keep the fish healthy. The instructor integrates occupational skills for animal care and Field Trials Standard 4, which requires the students to monitor the condition of the tanks that house the fish.
And what's the, why are you putting that in there? What is that?
It's chlorine remover, and we put it in because the chlorine in our water is so high. We put this in so it don't kill our fish.
And that just removes the chlorine from the water. And you've added your second reagent there, and you're waiting just a couple minutes to see where it settles out at, right?
Yeah.
The students measure the water temperature and dissolved oxygen of the water in the fish tanks. This activity integrates occupational skills for animal care and Field Trials Standard 1, which requires that students monitor animal health and health parameters.
And it's about 6.7.
6.7, is that going to fall into our range?
Yeah.
Okay, make sure you record that. What's the ammonia looking like?
About 0.6.
0.6. Is that a good number?
That's right around where we want it to be.
Yeah.
The students catch, weigh, and measure selected fish. They also tag the fish that have not yet been tagged. This activity integrates occupational skills for animal care and Field Trials Standard 1, which requires that students monitor animal health and health parameters. The activity also integrates Standard 7, which requires the students to maintain health records for their animals.
That one, that does have a tag in it, doesn't it? Okay, why don't you guys back up a little bit here?
You want me to look at
Yeah, if you can get a tag number, don't interfere with Brad weighing him, but if you can see a tag number on him.
4.5.
The data obtained in the lab is entered on the computer. The students graph the results and analyze the growth rate of the species of catfish they are raising. This activity integrates Mathematics Standard 5, which requires that students develop an understanding of data analysis, statistics, and probability.
But looking at that growth rate, should he be starting to taper off a little bit, or would you suspect? And why is that?
Because he's kind of outgrowing his environment.
Yeah, his environment's restricting him, and we'll get them moved into that bigger tank next week. Why else? Any other ideas why he's starting to slow down now? You got to figure he's probably
pretty old.
Yeah, he's about 1.5 years old, so he's going to start going through a little period there where he slows down. His growth rate won't be near as much as it used to be. So what's that telling us about catfish? If we're going to market them.
We better start marketing them pretty soon.
Better market, well, how old should they be?
Probably about 2 pounds, 6 months or so.
Probably closer to 1 year, actually, about 1 year old, but the 2-pound range is pretty good. Because if you look at that chart after, that 2-pound range, they just went, they grew real well, and then they started tapering off a little bit.
The students perform water tests in the trout tank. They use technology to measure the temperature and dissolved oxygen in the water. In this activity, the instructor integrates Technology Performance Indicator number 8 for grades 9 through 12, which requires that students select and apply technology tools for research, information analysis, problem solving, and decision making in content learning.
60 degrees.
Dissolved oxygen is 15.
Is what?
15 parts per million.
15 parts per million. You think the rainbow trout are a little more particular when it comes to water quality than the catfish or the bluegill?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's probably the biggest factor with the trout?
Temperature,
Probably temperature. Where do we want to see that temperature at?
about 60 degrees.
Yeah, not really much over 60 if we can help it.
The students have cleaned the tanks and optimized the water quality for each species of fish. Now they are feeding the trout. This activity integrates occupational skills for animal care and Field Trials Standard 2, which requires that students feed and observe animals and monitor their intake.
Hungry today, huh?
Yeah.